drinking coffee black as iron, and I couldn't be much higher without falling out of my chair. I've been so numb for so many years. Now I'm thinking about it every day, on my mind a typical way. Are you a life force? Thinking about her every day, on my mind a typical way. Are you a life force? And it's so easy to be blinded by the light, to feel lonely in the night. And it's blowing in the breeze, babe. I got dust in my eyes and rust in my mind. I'll be home come next spring. Won't you say you love me later, by and by? Looking back over my life, spent the most of it tongue-tied, pulling my belt tight. It's just me and the stars tonight. 2 fingers and a tight line, keep my head above the alpine. Just wish I'd spend more time listening to her speaker mind, thinking about every day, on my mind a typical way. Are you a life force? Thinking about it every day, on my mind a typical way. Are you a life force?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Get yourselves situated and present, and we'll get started. We're going to go back to taking a quiet moment here at the beginning, quiet moment of focus. So if you'll put your feet on the floor and just sort of bring your body to stillness. Close your eyes if that's good for you, or look down. Put your hand on your heart and your gut if that helps. It's a posture of awareness, being aware of our bodies, being aware of where we are in space and time. As you tune into your body and your breath, take a moment to reflect on where you've been already today. Where have you been already today? Might flash back to your cozy bed. Might flash back to your breakfast or a conversation with a friend. I'd like you to bring your focus to something that has supported you today. We experience all kinds of support every day. Something that has supported you today since you woke up this morning. Lots of different kinds of support that we experience. So I'd like you to focus on one of those things that has supported you. Consider what you have needed and how those needs have been met. Then I'd like you to think about how that support, how having whatever that thing is in your life that has made your day better, that has made your day good so far, something that you needed. And I'd like you to think about how you feel about that thing. And really see if you can embody the feeling of that thing, whatever it might have been. And then I'd like you to take a minute and talk to your partner. Now, when you do this is all very personal, right? Something that you have needed, that you got, some kind of support that you got, whether that was calories in your breakfast, whether that was, a call from a friend or your mom or whatever, whether that was the coziness of that bed that I just spoke about, whatever it is. But I want to make sure that you're talking about it in I language. It's very personal. So talk to your neighbor about what support and how that support makes you feel today. I feel as though my ear is plugged. I can't hear myself. I'm like, it's very bizarre.
The ear thingy? Oh.
No, that's in this. Would anyone like to share a story about this? About what support you received, how you feel?
This morning, the weather really supported me since it's been so cold. I mean, I really feel like everyone needed just a nice day. And at first, I was annoyed that the sun went through my curtains. And I was like, oh, it's so bright. That's so annoying. But then I actually was really excited because it was warm.
Yeah, I completely agree. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. Lots of people seem like they agree with that this morning.
I didn't know I was hungry this morning, but then my roommate asked if she wanted to if I wanted her to make me a croissant with cheese and ham, and I said yes.
Oh.
And now have a full stomach.
Yay! That's fantastic. Yay! Nice. Any other? Oh, there's someone else back that way.
Yeah, so me and my partner also talked about just the warm weather, and I was just saying to her literally my life's been the same, but the warm weather makes me less depressed. But when you first talked about what support you got, I just immediately thought to myself, today I feel really small things have been happening to me that want to bring me down. I was gonna take a shower and there was a centipede. I'm like, why me? Literally, why me? But instead of letting that bring me down, it supported myself and said it's small things. It really doesn't matter. But I think just your mentality of how you see the small things. Because if you let them build up, today would be a shitty day. But absolutely not. I'm not allowing that. So, period.
Rock on, Jason. Thank you. Fantastic. It is. It's about the way that we approach these things, right? So it's about seeing how that support, man, what a sweet surprise from your roommate, right? And how grateful now you don't have to get lunch, and it's going to save you time, and you got to hang out with your roommate, and so the way that we approach the world, I think, is really an important point. The way that we approach our day, the way that we look at these small things and take them in. This wonderful quote by Henri Matisse, famous artist who created these paintings: "There are always flowers for those who wish to see them." And so here we are in part 2 of part 2. Okay, we're shifting a little bit of our energy again. So we've been talking about all this hard stuff, but there are always flowers for those that wish to see them, right? The hard things, of the day, the centipede in the shower, that sucks. But does it? Or is it just a centipede who's making his way in the world that day and cruising along? He doesn't know he's in your shower. So how can we celebrate these things that we can do, that we can accomplish, that we can feel, how we support other people, how the sun supports, all kinds of great stuff is going on. And so if we approach the world with this sense of gratitude and joy and optimism, it shifts our energy. So Jason, just like all those little things adding up, this could be a really lousy day. But he can choose, right? We can make these choices. So where we are right now in the course, we've thought about, and maybe take a moment and think about what it is that you're grateful for in the natural world. I think this is going to set the tone for what we're doing today. What are you grateful for in the world right now? In the natural world. I think you should take another minute and share with your partner. What's something that you're grateful for? If you shared one thing earlier, the sunshine, choose something different this time. Find something else. What else are you grateful for? Held to share at this point? Something else? Grateful, gratitude? There's somebody in the back row up there. Thank you. There's another one over here if somebody else has a microphone. Thanks, Tiff, for running over.
So for me, the last 2 weeks have just been awful. I've been sick, and then I've just had a lot of family stuff. But I guess this week has been like a lot, but I'm grateful that I still have a place to go, like my classes. So I'm grateful for like being able to be here instead of just being at my house, like sulking in my room and just thinking about all the bad stuff that's happening. So it just like gives me a thing to like take my mind off.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yahoo! Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm grateful for this beautiful day. I feel like as soon as I woke up, I went to just go check outside because I've noticed that it was just going to be really nice. I just had a sense it was going to be really nice out today. And then I took a nice walk to this class because I was coming from the library, so that was like a pretty good walk. And then I'm just thankful for like the fresh air, the sunlight, and just the nature surrounding us.
Yeah, thank you for saying so. One more.
I said that I've been really grateful for the sky. I've been trying to make time to catch the sunrise and the sunset, or go outside and look at the stars if it's not cloudy outside, and just try and take a couple minutes of my day to catch some part of the sky.
Oh, awesome. So holding on to this sense of gratitude, thank you for your sharing. Those are beautiful things. So one thing that we have is we have this capacity to feel, right? So we can feel that gratitude. And somehow, like when I woke up and knew that it was going to be a beautiful day, I feel it someplace in my body. It's a very embodied excitement about what's happening in the natural world. So as much beauty as there is around us, I want you to keep that in mind and hold that sense. The gratefulness for being able to get out and be with people and go to class and all those things. Because we have been talking about really hard stuff, right? We've been talking about all these hard things that are happening in the world right now. Really, really hard stuff, right? So we live in a world where we could focus on this world of wounds. There's so much that needs to be fixed. There's so much that needs to be done. And we could really focus on this. And yet, where would that get us? I feel like that would get us to the place of being stuck. You know, I would not want to leave my room either if I were going to focus on this. So how can we do this together, right? These are not simply at all, these are symptoms of what's going on. What we're going to dive into here in part 2 of part 2 is we're going to think about all those horrible things that we've talked about and the pictures that we've seen, about those as the symptoms, but what's really at the root of why those things are happening. It's just like the other day when I talked about chemicals. I talked about the fact that people call them side effects. It makes it sound not so bad. So the effects are what we're seeing, the climate change, the chemicals, all these terrible things. So I'd like you to take a shot there on your page, your notes page for today. What do you think? What do you feel are the root causes? What's really getting at why do we have all this turmoil in the world right now? What is the root cause? I'd like you to just take create two theories about that. Two theories. If you need to talk to your partner, that's cool. If not, that's okay too. So what do you think? What are the root causes? What's at the base of all these problems? People don't what? Care. People don't care. There's one theory. People don't care.
Oh, I said greed.
Greed.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yep, he's got same, yeah. Greed, not caring, what else?
Bystanders to the problem, like they won't help because they think other people will help.
Thank you for saying that. Bystanders to the problem, what else?
Human entitlement.
Human entitlement. Thank you for bringing that up. That's hard. Yes? Jason?
Education.
Oh, education. So lack of awareness or the way that we educate. Yep. Okay.
Ignorance.
Ignorance. Mm-hmm. Thank you for saying that. These are hard, hard words. Right? Okay. So there are a couple right in front of you, Peyton. Thank you.
Corruption.
Corruption. Yep. There's a lot going on. What else?
Our country's economic system.
The economic system. Yep. Here are a couple more up front. Great. Thanks, Thomas. It's on it.
I was thinking for like natural disasters, they're just accidents. Like we couldn't prevent that or we didn't cause that.
Right. Natural disasters. And she said that we aren't causing them. We aren't, but they are getting more dramatic over time, for sure.
A lot of people are just scared to admit the truth of what's going on, and they don't want to face reality.
Scared to admit the truth of what's going on. Don't want to face reality. These are huge, and you are all spot on. So over the course of this part 2, we're going to tackle some of this stuff. And today we're gonna start here with population, which is one that you didn't mention, but that we do need to address. It is an environmental concern for sure, and a tricky one at that. So this is the chart that's there in your journal for today. The graph. So in 1850 is when we reached. So this is the beginning of people, like 7,000 BC. It's not yeah. But you can see that we didn't reach 1 million people until 1850. And then what has happened since then is really dramatic. 1 billion people in 1850. And then in 80 years, it doubled. It did in 80 years what it took 100,000 years to do prior to that. And then it grew 1,000 times faster. So is population the main cause? What we're talking about is this linear growth is where it's a steady, this is what it was doing for a long time, that linear trend that you can see here. But then now what's happened is that once we hit 1 billion, then 2 comes even faster, and 3 comes faster, and 4. And then, so what we're doing is exponential growth right now. We've looked at this incredible image, right, of the Earth, and this was taken in 1969, just before the population hit 4 billion people. 4 billion. And then we are going to double that in 53 years, which will happen next year. We will hit 8 billion people. So from the time this was taken to now, essentially. Actually, Jamie, would you pull up that website? Yeah, current world population. Look how close we are. So this is pretty cool. We're counting births today. Could you scroll down just a bit, Jamie, for us? Yeah, there, thank you, perfect. Deaths today, population growth today. This is in the United States. You can watch a similar chart happen for each of the countries. So births this year, deaths, population growth this year. So I hear lots of commenting. Anybody want to say something about this? Yeah. How do they know? No, it's actual. And that's a great question. I think that when people are born, it's just getting registered, right? Pretty constantly. So can you scroll down again? Nope, the other way, sorry. Yeah, and so this is the world population. I don't know how they do it. I've wondered the same thing, but it changes. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of fascinating. It's only halfway through March and we already have 28.5 billion people, or no, million people.
Yeah, 28 million people born this year.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
crazy. So, thank you, Jamie. So we have still the same size landmass, right? We haven't doubled the size of the Earth in the last 53 years. We've just doubled the population. And then the human role, of course, has changed too. So where we are right now, there's a similar page to this in your book about the Great Acceleration. The Great Acceleration. The geologic age that we're in right now is called the Anthropocene. Anthropocene means how people are shaping the geologic time. We as humans are the focus of this geologic time and how we are shaping this planet. The human activity has been the dominant influence on the climate and the environment. And there's a debate about when this age started, the Anthropocene, whether it started, it may have started at the agricultural revolution, which was like 12,000 years ago, because agriculture has changed the shape of the way that we as humans can exist in the world. Other people say that the Anthropocene started in the 1960s, and that's when this population thing became really kind of an issue. Earth crossed a tipping point in the 1960s. Post-World War II production and consumption all sort of slipped into overdrive. The producers and the consumers moved into this new trajectory fueled by the use of Earth's resources. And we've already seen a graph that parallels these, right? So we can see the socioeconomic trends. There's the population up there, and how urban areas have grown, and how many more dams we have, and how much transportation is going on. All of these things have gone up and up. And then the Earth system trends too. Tropical forest loss, marine fish capture, ocean acidification we talked about, how those things are parallel to what's happening in our socioeconomic trends. And it matches this curve that we've looked at, the species extinction. Biodiversity and nature's contributions to people and our common heritage it's our life support safety net, right? The world, the resources, but our safety net is stretched almost to the breaking point, a really interesting way to think about that. So the report finds that now about 1 million animal and plant species are threatened with extinction, more than ever in human history, more than ever in the history of the planet. So yes, there are more of us, of people, but what else contributes to this? A lot of those things that you just mentioned, the dramatic shifts we are experiencing, right? So we looked at an image like this the other day when we were talking about fossil fuel use. And I'd like you to look at it again. What's going on here? How does this connect to some of those words that you just put out as the root cause? How does this connect to our ecological crisis? So take a moment and talk with your neighbor about that. Brainstorm what this means. So what do you think? How does this connect? The power that they're using to fuel all the lights in that place. That's interesting. Where is that electricity coming from? What else? That's cool.
So like thinking like when it was built, there was probably a lot of trees in that area before, so like they probably killed a lot, deforestation. They took a lot of habitats away from animals probably too.
Yeah, deforestation to build wherever this is. I don't exactly know where this one is, but so deforestation. So I was just thinking about this the other day. I'll get right to you, Peyton, just a second. That I remember when Target and where that whole complex of Target is, and now Trader Joe's, and I remember when that was forest. It was not that long ago. And so I just remember watching them clear cut that entire area to create those different shopping plazas and feeling how dramatic that is. What was living there before? And that's not the only area in State College. This, it was not that long ago that North Atherton didn't extend nearly as far with all of the shopping that we experience now. So that's, deforestation. So good point. Thank you. Peyton, somebody up there?
Something that really stood out to me was that there are, I think, 2 escalator sets, but 4 escalators, and there's a spiral staircase right to the side that no one's using, so there's like a lot of energy and electricity going to powering that all day.
Right, here's
that boils down to like human laziness, I think.
Oh, human laziness. Take the easy way, right? Save that energy. Interesting. Save our energy to use Earth's energy. Yes, let me get a microphone to you just a second. Okay, she can shout. So she's talking about consumerism and buying things potentially impulsively, or more likely to be buying things impulsively in this kind of place. Thank you for saying that, consumerism, yeah.
Well, that's pretty much what I was going to say, but I was going to say it as the human obsession with consumption and kind of how little they care about, or we care, like what we do with that. Like how much of the stuff they buy is going to end up in the trash.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yes, go ahead.
I was going to say all the cars it took them to drive to the mall.
All the cars that took to drive to the mall, all of that energy use. So there's lots of stuff that we can analyze through this. Right now, I want to tackle the idea, and we'll get to some of those other things too, if not today, then next week. The idea that Americans are often referred to as consumers, right? America has about 334 million consumers. We aren't often referred to as citizens necessarily, but more as consumers. We have increased our consumption of stuff by at least 3 times since the 1960s. So then we get to ask, this class is a lot about asking why. Why are we consuming more stuff? Corporations, last year in 2021, corporations spent $284 billion on advertising to us. That's about $850 per person to convince us to buy stuff. So here's an example, and this is not a slam on those of you who are marketing majors. There is something really brilliant about what's going on here, right? But it's even more brilliant for us to be aware of what's going on. So here's the example, okay? Coca-Cola at soda fountains and carbonated in bottles, 5 cents. It is delicious and refreshing. This is coming from the 1800s. What else is implied in this picture? It's delicious and refreshing, and it's sexy. Look at that, like voluptuous. You too can have this if you drink Coca-Cola. Delicious Coca-Cola, pure and wholesome. Pure and wholesome? Coca-Cola? Right, okay. But that's what the advertisement says. There is nothing like it when you're thirsty. Fantastic. Drink Coca-Cola. And look, we've got this theme of like sexy women advertising here. And it just continues. Here is the 50th anniversary of Coca-Cola from the 1800s to 1936. Look how things have changed. Coke for hospitality. Oh my gosh, you get friends if you drink Coke. How exciting is that? You can be the perfect hostess if you serve Coca-Cola. Friendliest drink on earth. That's interesting. I can't really explain that one. Oh my gosh, you can also fall in love over Coca-Cola. This is beautiful. This is so beautiful. And, oh, there's somebody of color. Great. Like, oh, it's for athletes as well. Open happiness. This one didn't come out too long ago, right? Open happiness. They're appealing to our deep psychology, right? That's what marketing does. Obviously, we are better people if we drink Coca-Cola. We can be happy, we can have friends, we can fall in love. It's brilliant. It's also addictive, right? It's sugar, it's caffeine. It's all in the beverage's design that once you get it, you're going to want more, and you're going to want more, and you're going to want more of it. Your favorite brand of soft drink is also engineered with just the right amount of those things to make you continuously want it. This is brilliant. So, you know, I don't know where that ran, but look at that. Coke over the years, from the 1886 all the way through. So then, how am I subject to marketing? How am I subject to marketing? All kinds of things, right? Nike is not just selling cool shoes and cool clothes. They're selling just do it. Like, I am more likely to be a better runner if I just do it, if I wear Nikes. They're selling encouragement. They're selling support, both the mental kind and in your shoes. Coach purses and bags. They're selling the lifestyle of the rich and famous. Louis Vuitton, classy, admirable, and instantly recognizable. Apple, selling connectivity. Everybody wants to be connected. Connectivity, easy access to the world, and on and on. When I buy those sneakers or purses or clothes, electronics, what's the big picture? The big picture is that all of that, every single part of every single one of those things that we buy, everything we buy comes from nature somehow. Everything we buy comes and is connected to the world around us. So talking about how we impact the world, the ecological footprinting is an analysis. It's figuring out, it's an accounting tool that helps us to see what we're taking for what we're receiving. The ecological footprint is a metric that measures human demand on natural capital. How much nature does it take to get the things that we want, the things that we need? And so you can measure the footprint of an individual or of a town or of a city, of a business, a nation, We can assess how much pressure we are putting on the planet by the things that we consume. This comes down to, somebody mentioned earlier, education and awareness. The fact that everything comes from nature. Every single thing. So I know that this is a struggle, in my household. And today, 2 of my household are here. And just this morning, we're talking about Fitbits and the benefit of a Fitbit, understanding how much movement you're getting, how much energy, how much exercise, are you getting your heart rate up, are you sleeping well, all of those cool things. But then how does the benefit of having a Fitbit sort of play into where that came from, right? All of the natural resources that went to make that Fitbit. Do both of my little kids need to have a Fitbit, or just one? Can they share? Do they not share? Can it be that they're competing for health and wellness if they each have? So there's all this debate, right? So that your lab this week will be about this, about ecological footprints. Your individual connections to and your impact upon the earth, and how your choices are also impacting you. The tool that you'll use in your lab is not perfect by any means. There are lots of things that are being left out. There are lots of things that are not considered very carefully there. But it's a point for conversation. It's a point where we can start to reflect on the things that we have, the things that we need. How do we get there in a way that can be aware? The UN report about species decline that I talked about earlier states that it's not too late to make a difference. It is not too late to make a difference, but only if we start now at every level, from local to global. The transformative change, nature can still be conserved. It can still be restored, and it can still be used sustainably. By transformative change, we mean fundamental, system-wide reorganization. But that starts with us, people like us in this room, talking to other people, making a difference in the places where we are. So we have this power to have these conversations. I'm going to put a link to a podcast in the week 9 module, and it's really cool. I'll put in there, there's 4 minutes that are really good and rich, and we don't have time to do it in here today, but if you take the time to listen to it, I think that you'll find it valuable. It's with this fabulous woman, these 2 fabulous women. This is the On Being podcast that I absolutely love. And understanding that there are always flowers for those that choose to see them. We overshoot our resources. I know that this will be hard to see, but when would Earth overshoot Day land if the population lived like these different countries? So if the world lived like America, United States of America here, we would have run out of resources by March 13th, just a few days ago. Different countries do it differently. So when we talk about people and the world, there are people that live, Qatar, Luxembourg, would have run out of resources a month before us. But then Jamaica is almost equal. So it's about how we choose what we're consuming. We are running an ecological debt while we fill the atmosphere and the soil with too much waste. So we have a choice, right? Don't apologize for the sorrow and the grief and the rage that you feel. It is a measure of your humanity and your maturity. It is a measure of your open heart, and as your heart breaks open, there will be room for the world to heal, says Joanna Macy. It is the role and the responsibility of the One Planet Alliance to help us to come together. We can work together in this. Jamie, would you open that video for me? So I'd like you to check this out, see what you think. Oh, it's not in there. Sorry. Can you scroll up to the first slide for me? Oh boy, it's not there at all. Oh, is it embedded? Oh, go back to the slideshow. I think it's embedded. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Yes, number 22. Thank you. Check this out.
When in the course of human events,
in the course of human events,
عندما نكون في مضمار الأحداث البشرية,
quand dans le cours des événements humains,
becomes increasingly necessary
para reconocer
to recognize the fundamental qualities
yang menghubungkan kita,
that connect us,
that connect us,
that connect us.
the truths we hold,
To be self-evident.
Alors nous devons réévaluer les vérités que nous tenons pour acquises.
That all humans are
created equal.
and all are connected.
比如每一个人都是生来平等，并且联系在一起的。That we share the pursuits of life,
La recherche d'une vie meilleure,
liberty,
Happiness,
kebahagiaan, food,
والغذاء, water, agua, shelter, el refugio, seguridad,
education,
pendidikan, justice.
And hopes for a better future.
That our collective knowledge, economy, technology, and environment are fundamentally interdependent.
ketergantungan kita.
that what will propel us forward
لأن لدينا شجاعة على التقدير.
is our curiosity.
Curiosité.
Rasa ingin tahu kita.
Our ability to forgive, kemampuan kita untuk memaafkan. Our ability to appreciate.
Our courage.
Our courage.
Keberanian kita.
And our desire to connect.
D'être connecté.
That these things we share. في نهاية المطاف إلى تطور.
To our fullest common potential.
Le cose che noi teniamo insieme sono le cose del nostro mondo.
我们应该严肃对待我们的问题。
We should never take ourselves too seriously.
Kwa sababu jambo jingine linalotuunganisha huwa kudratuna ala tahdi.
Dan upaya kita untuk belajar dari kesalahan kita.
So that we can learn from the past.
Understand our place in the world.
Memahami tempat kita di dunia. And use our collective knowledge.
To create a better future.
去创造一个更美好的未来。
So perhaps it's time
Jadi mungkin sudah saatnya kita
That we, as a species,
sebagai spesies, as a species,
Love to laugh.
que disfruta de reír.
love to laugh,
Poser questions.
ask questions, and connect.
Do something radical and true. For centuries,
We have declared
independence.
Perhaps it's now time
That we, as humans, declare our interdependence.
interdependenza.
interdependence.
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 Interdépendance.
Thank you, and have a beautiful day.